Hi, I'm here today to interview Emilie Autumn. I'm so excited, I actually can't believe it. This is Emilie's tour bus right here, and we're just waiting for her manager to come out and bring us in so we can start the interview.
So far, it's been going amazingly. We just played yesterday a honest to God Victorian opera house in Bournemouth, which was incredible. God, our venues have just been so beautiful this time around. And the day before that, or the show before that in Paris, we had this huge circus tent, velvet dripping with that gold fringe, and it just has blown my mind how oh wow, not only are we asked back to this country and Paris, but we're also allowed to play these really amazing places that fit the show perfectly. Not sure how tonight is going to be, but it's okay because that will fit another aspect of the show perfectly. So there's always something to make it work. The funniest thing that I've realized though is today, for example, and many other, there's a bunch of people that are waiting outside the bus all day that are not fans. They're eBayers, and they've seen how much, for whatever reason that I'm still overwhelmed by, how if something sells that I sign on eBay, it goes for kind of a stupid amount of money. I don't know why. And however, it doesn't matter if I know why, because they just, I guess they troll eBay for people that are known to any small degree, see what sells with an autograph and get that. So they've been coming. There's a bunch of them out there that I ran away from. But they've been coming to so many shows, and they did this on our American tour as well, in droves, even more. I'd never heard of this phenomenon before. But what they do is they come with folders of a stack of 8x10 glossy photos, and the thing is they all have the same ones. They all have the exact same stack of pictures, which means that there's some sort of place online where they all download and print out the same things from, and then compete with each other for that. But the most ridiculous part is that they don't think that I know what this is about, and so they pretend to be fans, and sometimes they're even oh, I'm so looking forward to the show, and yet you're okay, firstly, you don't have a ticket, secondly, everybody that comes out of the bus you think is me because you have no idea. So that's been really educational to see how do you know you're starting to do well? It's because that's what happens apparently.
Definitely.
That's how you know.
Is it quite overwhelming?
It's just, to me, it's more insulting than anything else. It's not only are they're doing that, but they're going online and trying to trick fans into buying things that were really. So I've learned some tricks, when you're doing it, you just quietly sign it to eBay with love. Because and then just walk away, and they won't know until a second later anyway. Or I just confront them, and if I sign something, then I'll just say, so how much do you expect to get for this? And then they're no, they pretend to be all offended. No, I'm a collector.
I can imagine that's annoying.
So I know that was a long-winded answer to your question.
No, that's absolutely fine. That's fine. Has there been any highlights so far?
Oh yes. We were actually just having the Crumpets and I a discussion on what everybody, we go around one of a moment from this tour so far that you will remember for the rest of your life. Just pick a moment, which is very difficult because this is crazy, amazing, and all of that. However, last night in Bournemouth, we were in this, like I said, this amazing, just massive Victorian theater, and yet the audience, yes, there were a handful of really amazing loyal plague rats that dress up and all of that stuff, and you can tell, okay, you're a fan, you've got hearts painted on your cheek. But what I didn't know until afterwards is that that's a place of heavy drug use, where all the tweaked out kids are there because it's kind of this retirement holiday village, so it's easy for them to just come in and do whatever. And so the whole time it was honestly the most bizarre fucking show ever, as far as the vibe of things. They were being just talking through the whole thing, not trying to be part of the show, not ignoring us, but there's a limit. This is kind of interactive and all, but calm the fuck down. And it was just, it got to the point of I can't do my job. And then when that happens and we cross the line, and then we just all get pissed, and then it's just about
You know, if you get in the way, I will embarrass you.
Well, definitely.
And it just gets a little brutal because we don't really have patience for that.
Definitely.
And we go from being nice cupcakes to just being
Because if
demonesses.
it ruins
So
you doing your job,
I wouldn't
then
fuck with them.
No.
not a good idea.
Yeah.
And so what happened by the end was a completely unique occurrence, which is I had just gotten so fed up at the weirdness of these, like they were like crying and passing out and all these things, but it wasn't because I don't think it was because they were so into this. It was because they were totally crapped out, and it was just shameful. I was pissed more than anything else because, like, look at the place we're in. You're dishonoring this 200-year-old place that's full of ghosts and beautiful things, and I'm doing the show for the theater because the theater has seen far more than anybody in the audience could possibly. So that's the magic of it for me. It's like, look where I've gotten. I never would have dreamed that I'm playing in a place like this. This is perfect. And then they come in and totally sully the place by just being fucking idiots. And at the end of it, this comes to the greatest moment ever, which is that I just thought, I think that a lot of people came to the show not really knowing what they were in for and thinking that it was just like a girly strip show or something. So I thought, irony, I'm going to give them what they want with a big old fuck you. And at the end of it, we come out for our bows at the end, and I just took my top off. And Veronica stood behind me and just went, which is her. So you can imagine we're a very good couple. So yeah, that's what happened.
That's a good highlight.
It was just like whatever game we were playing, I win.
Yeah, that's really, really good.
So that was
that's a good story. It's one you can tell for a few years as well.
That's the thing. It's like I'm so through all the show we're going like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
And by the end, I'm so glad that it went down the way it did because I get that memory of like, and I get to know what happens when I'm pushed just that much too far. Is apparently I take my clothes off. I wasn't really aware, but just before we went on for bows, I just said to the girls, guess what is coming off? And I tended to kind of just like take everything off, but I only had time to get that.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's fantastic.
Thank you very much.
So performing live this tour, which has been your favourite song to do live, if you can pick?
It's always a cross between The Art of Suicide and Thank God I'm Pretty, just because they're both so. I think I have to go with Suicide because it's the most. They're all personal, but that one is the song that I always say, and it sounds bizarre, but like I sometimes it means so much to me, and it just says everything that I ever really wanted to say in just such a concise form that it's almost like that's it. If I stopped writing. I sometimes, it sounds so stupid, but I sometimes think like, why would I write after that? Because how could I say anything that's more just there?
Yeah, definitely.
That's it. That's what I believe. That's for sad, for silly, for whatever it is. The Art of Suicide.
Through that song, you can tell so much that that's what you wanted to say and you mean it.
It's just it. It's like the ultimate message. I have to have the faith that I will find another ultimate message that will surpass that, because otherwise, why would I do anything?
Definitely.
But that's the one that I never, it's easy to, especially when you're singing songs every night with dark subject matter, that just for your own survival, you just kind of step back and make it about, this is for the show, let's make this a show. But for that one, I never ever have done it where I wasn't in it and completely trying to just give that message. So that's always the nice one. And the whole thing is taking this really sad, just kind of morbid thing and make it into a beautiful ballet, which is what we do. It's just like Swan Lake and sparkling, pretty, while I'm slitting my wrists and all of that. And you get to stay for the show, yes?
Yeah, we do.
So you will see.
Brilliant, thank you.
Yeah, I'm so glad.
That's fantastic.
I really hope that you like it.
I'm sure we will.
But,
it'll be great.
That's without a doubt got to be the one that I look forward to every night. And when it starts, I get probably the biggest thrill of anybody. It's like when that little harpsichord that starts, just like, here we go. I get to say what I wanted to say.
Definitely. That's fantastic.
That is it.
Okay, this is quite a general question, but well, it's not general, it's just like a big one, because for the listeners who won't know, do you explain what the asylum is and what it is to you?
Yeah. The asylum is a very real, literal place, and it began it began when I was first locked up in the modern day psych ward in Los Angeles. And so how it came about, just to be brief, which I'm not very good at, but is that it's the thing of when you're locked up for attempted suicide, as we all know, that's the cause. So then you're not allowed to choose when you go home. You could go home after 3 days, or you could never go home because they decide you don't. And there are several reasons why one might be kept in there. They might just find you interesting enough to want you to stick around. And you could become like the pet of the head psychiatrist who wants to sexually fuck with you. And what can you do? Because you're a crazy girl and they're a doctor with $1 million education, and who are you going to believe? So that's the thing. There's no one to go to. You're allowed no contact with the outside world. You have no control whatsoever of your physical body, your mental state, what drugs they give you. So when that happens, it's a very common thing of just an inmate of any kind, because you're absolutely a prisoner and treated like one. Is you, in order to have almost someone to talk to, you kind of create this alternate reality. And little did I know at the time how very real that would become, to where that's kind of where I live, is this mid-state between these two. I mean, I dream in that world. I talk to those people, and the book is a real thing.
Definitely.
And so what the asylum means now is the book tells the history of that. I mean, you'll learn everything about it, everything about me from the diary entries of my whole insane experiences, but also, and more important, you learn everything there is to know. Hey, little fanny fans. Hey, if I see striped stockings, you better be coming to the show, because don't even mess with me. So, that is false advertising if you do not have to. Striped stockings. Yeah.
Definitely.
So, it is, the most important thing is that the book tells everything about the asylum, and people will learn what we eat for breakfast, how you sleep, how many people there are, where it is, and which is Victorian London. Yeah. Have fun. Morgan. Yeah, I don't recognize you at all. So the book and the music and the show and all of that tell the story of this place, but the message and the explanation of what it is now is what it always was supposed to be, which is a fucking asylum, which means a sanctuary, which means a place to go be safe. And that's not what it was in 1841, and it's definitely not what it is now. But for as much control as I have over this reality, and for the night of the show, for everybody who shows up, we are taking the asylum back. And that is the whole idea. We're making it what it was always supposed to be, and that is the place. Like tonight, any show is for one night, all people of all different whatever the hell, because we have this massively wide range of gender, age, style, music they're normally into, all of that. And they're all together, and this is the one night where you will not apologize for all of those things about yourself that you're usually made to feel bad about. That's the idea, and the whole kind of irony of the situation is taking a show or music or any of this. It's all about a crazy girl and turning it into something that is very, very healthy, and that's the goal of all of this.
Definitely. Okay, I have to ask you, how long does it take you to get ready into the costume?
We have gotten so stealthy at this, because sometimes we'll show up and we have very, very little time, or I'll have a day full of press and photo shoots and things, and I don't have more than 45 minutes to get ready. And yes, I still freak out and have massive stress. I have anxiety dreams, like at least a few times a week, about not. It's always about not being ready for the show, and it's always to do with getting my makeup on. And costumes. I'm like, oh my god, I can't find my costume. Like, those are the silly, idiotic, just trivial dreams that I still have, and it's only happened, I think, one time where the music started playing and I was back there going, what did you turn it off for? I'm not ready. But I still made it, and nobody knew, and I just had a little bit less glitter on than I otherwise would have. But we've got just knowing that can happen. That's so incredibly quick at it. And it's also, I think, the challenge, what's made us really good at this, of having 5 girls trying to, you never know. I mean, sometimes the venues are amazing with huge makeup mirrors everywhere, and sometimes you've got like that and a little crowded bathroom. So we've learned to be able to do all of our stuff at the same time, just crowding around this little thing like chickens one on top of another, and being able to do that then has made us shockingly quick at it. So we're good if we have an hour. It used to take about 5, so over the last 3 years of doing this,
that's
we've
really
gotten
good
a lot better.
I was going to ask about like history and how history plays a part in like your music and your performance. So you're clearly very educated, very historically aware. But
about some things, I'm an idiot about others. But see, that's the whole thing of when you educate yourself, because I quit school when I was 10 or so, is you get really highly knowledgeable about the things that you choose to be, and I mean, honestly, not very good at math. But that's just because I never really put much time into that. I mean, I'm probably as good as anybody else walking the streets, but I'm not really educated on all of that. I can count to 10 because I've got fingers. But after that, it's all about the things that I wanted to know, which is obviously music, but art and history and all of this stuff, and literature, and just being a complete history geek and always about that stuff, and just totally there's always something to talk about. But it's extremely important, just first on the principle of, it's obvious. You learn where we're going tomorrow by where we were yesterday. And you also learn over, like, looking at a large chunk of history or an era, that every single era, it's cyclical. History repeats itself. It goes in this big circle, and it always has, and it always will. So our only hope is to, like, make the mistakes more interesting, or at least be different or something, because they're going to happen. But how can we just change it a little bit and just get things slightly more healthy, or get more rights for women or something this time around? I mean, just something to make some sort of progress, which is difficult to do. But in this particular case, like this asylum world, all of this it's the Victorian obsession because of the direct parallels to our time now, and that being, it's the Industrial Revolution, it's the breakdown of the class system, it's everything that we kind of know and depend on in our lives now had a basis in that time, as far as the start of electricity and all of these things, and technology. And that's a similar thing with what's happening now. It's also, this terror of the plague, which was thought to be spread by rats. Of course it wasn't, it was the fleas, but even now people don't really know that, which is why there's still this mad terror of rodents. Completely false. And they don't want to bite you unless you step on them. And they do not carry diseases, the parasites do. So it's the idea of showing, especially because I'm also obsessed with, obviously, like medicine, psychiatry, psychology, the origins of that stuff, because there's still so much that's messed up about this, that you have to think, how did this start, and how are we not further on than we are? We're positively Victorian about this. How can somebody who's not crazy get locked up for an unlimited amount of time in a thing where you're completely tortured in that? I mean, it's the most harrowing, abusive situation I've ever been in, and you can say nothing. And so it's the thought of how did this happen, and then getting back into where this started is like, we've had medicine of some sort for the beginning of time, but starting in the mid 1800s is when the insane asylums as we know them really became these institutions where people were put away. Most of them, like now, were not actually insane. They're people that are inconvenient, that are misunderstood, that somebody wants to get out of the way, because there's a number of reasons why you would want to put someone away, if they were just in the way of something that you wanted. But it's seeing that very little has changed from then till now in a lot of ways, especially if you're a lady. Do you think this time is so great to live in either? But that's also the point of that we're not, like in the show and me in general, it's not about glamorizing that era and tea parties and posture and nice hats and things. That's not it. It's about exposing the deep, dark underbelly of this time that people do not think about and do not know about, just like they don't know what goes on inside of mental health care institutions now unless they've actually been in one.
Exactly.
And a lot of people never get out.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing about showing what is actually going, and that's the fun part for any artistic soul at all, is the secrets and telling them, because there's enough love songs. I don't need to do that. That's not my job.
Yeah.
But I want to uncover things and be like a historical mental archaeologist and just dig and dig and dig. And that's, I mean, we've only just scratched the surface right now. There's a lot more to learn and a lot more stories to tell.
Definitely. So you mentioned before about the art suicide, and I was going to ask you which was the most emotionally difficult song for you to write.
That would be Liar. Yeah. And the reason is because that one's it's not my words. It's, because I think it took some people a while to figure out, Melissa and Tabbers. Like, because it's got that unique thing where it's just me parroting back things that somebody said to me. And so when I wrote that, well, obviously there's that thing of remembering, like, going through, wow, that's intense. And somebody actually was cruel enough to say those things and mean it.
Yeah.
And say, are you suffering? Are you suffering? Are you even suffering?
Yeah.
And that was the thing of, do you want me to? It will never be enough unless I'm on the floor bleeding for you. And that somebody who claims to love you would want that, just because it is never enough unless you're dead.
Yeah.
And so it's the most, if I let myself get into it, which I still try to do, otherwise it's just dishonest, it's very difficult, but it's so worth it, because the whole thing is, you know, it's scary when you show the mirror, like Shakespeare said, you hold the mirror up to nature. That's kind of the most terrifying thing you can do to someone, is going, look, that's fucking, you know, that's freaky. And to just make someone face who they really, really are, no matter what the public or the world thinks you are. This is you, and you have to live with this. And I can run away, but you have to live with this forever.
Yeah.
And so that was the most difficult to write, and it is the most difficult to sing, but it's got that beautiful flip side of just like the revenge of just getting in someone's face and saying, repeating back, because you know, even when you're a child and they're like repeating the same thing that you said, that's fucking maddening. So imagine if you do it and, you know, you have a knife in your hand.
Yeah.
That's not so funny anymore. It's pretty terrifying. And that's the thing, is letting myself go there and embody the demon. Is I'm becoming and taking on the role of this just completely demonic soul. And that's pretty rough, but like I think a big achievement just for me personally at the same time. That for once you don't pretend that didn't happen. You own that it happened. You own that there are people like this. You own that you let yourself be victimized once again because you're an aphiliac, and that's what that archetype does. It's just like, destroy me. And I've never actually talked about that in that way, but which is good. Because this is what's fun, is no matter how many interviews, there's always something new to think of, and I appreciate that.
Thank you. I was going to ask about Saw. You did the one of the songs for Saw 4.
No, I have never seen it.
I was going to say, is it true that you hate horror films?
Well, it's true that I hate like that genre where it's about the sort of just gore for gore's sake, or like what I can't deal with. Like the two main things are extended suffering torture scenes where it's like, how long can somebody scream, and that, and labor scenes in movies, because it's pretty much the same thing. So I kind of like, I have enough scary shit in my head. I don't need to see it on the outside. It's already there. I deal with this every day and every night. I can't sleep. And so, we call those things not EA rated. And so whenever we're going to watch a movie in the bus, it's like, is this EA rated? Or should I just go in the little tea room? We have this little tea room on the bus that, I know it's true. My gosh, it's pretty rad. But, I've never seen that. I never will. I actually was told that there are some like good psychological aspects to it, that it's not that bad, but I'm just really delicate. I'm a delicate flower. In some ways, I'm ridiculously like mannerly and proper.
So you started off as a classical violinist. How did you make the merge between that and what you do now?
I think it was almost inevitable in that just I've always been just stupidly, violently independent. And when I was about 12, I just happened to hear other kinds of music, which is, I asked to play the violin. It was my idea. I loved it, and I loved that music, and that still is actually my favorite music. It's just the best. Sorry, there's no 3-minute pop or rock song or whatever that can ever stand up to that. It can't. But it was realizing through really like hearing some jazz, hearing Jimi Hendrix especially, which just realizing that on any instrument there's so much more you can do than what I was being told you could, and also having to hide that. And because you're honestly like, if you just play the violin for fun, whatever, but if you're being groomed to be world-class classical soloist on a podium every night, which is totally what I wanted and what was happening, then you're honestly, it's ridiculous, and people don't believe me, but you're not allowed to really hear anything else. You're definitely not allowed to play anything else. So in secret, I played and sort of joined all these jazz bands, like 12, 13 and stuff, and I started to get into electric violin simply for the practical. This is so funny because I'm saying something about being heard and then not start. But the reason I had to start playing the electric because I could carry a little amp around. And if you're playing in a jazz band with a pianist, a live drummer, a bass, some trumpets, all of that done, there's no way that you're going to be heard with this wooden classical thing. So I had to do that. And the funny part is that the electric violin I got when I was, I think, 12 or 13, is still the one that I'm using now on stage.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's still good. Like they've upgraded, the company's upgraded the models and stuff, and made it so that you can use MIDI through them and all of that junk. But I don't even need that for this. It's just about treating it like a guitar or something with using, those effects, those pedals and things like that. And the violin does what it's supposed to do.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
it's got 4 strings, and I got a bow for it. Wow. So no, it is funny. I rarely think about that. This is the same one. I've never had a different one than that. It just keeps getting new paint jobs because I just keep. It really, it's made to go with whatever costumes I'm wearing for a show. It really was, because it started out all stripy and now it's gold and glittery.
That's fantastic.
Oh, it's fun. I can't wait for you to see it. It's really pretty.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Yeah, it's fun.
So after such a grueling stage performance, how do you relax?
That's like, I don't know if we do. I don't think we really do. I don't think it ever really ends. I think that kind of the fun continues, and we get on the bus and just sort of kind of continue what goes on stage.
Yeah, that's
well, because the thing is, by the time the show ends, it's not like we end with Liar or something that kind of kills me to do every night. It's not like that. I mean, the show is very long. It's over 2 hours, sometimes close to 3. Yeah. But it's like by the time we get to the end, we've got to the point in the story where we've taken the place back, and it ends on a very not lighthearted by any means, but beautiful, healthy note. Yeah. And doing something like Thank God I'm Pretty as an encore, and like the extended violin, guitar jerk-off solo and all that, just makes it funny, and it ends with humor and with like that light side. And so after that, it's not really needed. What we usually do is go back and then we drink what was in the teapot. Yeah. It's never really tea. I think everybody's figured that out. Yeah. It's only because if they've ever been fortunate or unfortunate enough to get into the first few rows, they get sprayed with whatever's in there. And I think, if they're under 18 or whatever, you have to be whatever country you're in. Their parents can smell whatever. I think people have figured it out.
That's cool.
It's key. Yeah. But we usually Maggots makes the tea. That's one of her jobs. Is she makes pirate brew before every show. Yeah. And it's a surprise because I never personally really know what's in the tea until I get my first cup of tea on stage. So when I have it, the reaction is always very similar. Because sometimes it's fucking shocking. Yeah. Sometimes it's amazing. Sometimes it's almost unbelievable. But my job is to drink it anyways. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
But no, it's one of the most fun parts. There's always a surprise to be had. And And so in the back, if it was good, we usually just like pass the teapot around and drink out of it. And I guess that would be the honest, not very classy answer of how we relax.
No,
after
that's
the show,
fantastic.
is we drink what the remaining contents of the large, packed with fun.
Oh, that's fantastic.
We have. Yeah.
So finally, the last question: if you could give any message out to the fans that will be listening, what would you say? It's tricky.
My message of the moment, and this is very important. It's the most important thing that I have to say right now, which is join the Asylum Army, because we're going to train you how to fight like a girl. For those of you who aren't aware, fighting like a girl means to the death and without mercy. So we're recruiting, and you're never too young.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This is for the radio, the student radio at Leeds University.
Awesome.
So yeah,
That's my very you're my favorite people to talk to.
you.
That's
We've got them
who I should
there.
be doing interviews with. I mean, that's the places that I want to try and infiltrate, and that's our age group, and just like so nice. And also, you guys are the people who tomorrow will be working at Rolling Stone or whatever the hell is like. That's the future of things that are good. So
Definitely.
the other day, which is
how
well dressed he is. I don't know any of these people. No, he was just clearly a fan because he had like his uniform on. And
Oh, that's fantastic.
See, I don't look like anything fancy, but unicorn hat.
No, unicorn
Everybody
hat.
dresses like that now, so
you
so
still
much for
do.
anonymity. This totally backfired. But it's with unicorn, I don't care who sees me in what state, because it just kind of takes over, and all you see is unicorn hat. That's awesome. Unicorn hat makes people happy.
Yeah.
So it gets a lot of